Right. The
Okay?
the FSM will be installed in the vessel too.
No, because of the vessel, we will use this one to receive to ask to request materials, and you guys you wanna use this one from the off side.
Right. We will not use the star IPS.
Only if you decide to see the maintenance,
Yeah, yeah.
or if you'd like to make this pre-approval before go to FSM.
Right.
See,
Right,
in
right.
FSM, that's all MERs you create there. You're gonna stay here. So let me open one, for example, just to show you. This is a PR that we call the purchase request. This came from the vessel from this MER. So when that's transferred to FSM copy and duplicate this MER. Okay,
Right.
that came from the vessel, and so they start the process to buy that.
Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna talk that later on. But this one is the system you guys gonna use to approve and so on.
We could choose to do it because I noticed that both softwares do the same thing, but
Mm,
the good practice will be to use this one.
yeah. Uh, for example, I have implemented the FSM in a custom here in Brazil.
Yes.
So they ask, Flavio, where should I create MERs on behalf of the vessel? Because of the superintendent and the vessel manager, they can buy stuffs to the office
Ye-
or to the department in the office, or they can buy something on behalf of vessel.
Yes.
So I suggest them, for example, if they would like to create something on behalf of vessel, they have to open the start IPS in the office and start a MER from here.
Right.
Okay, and you can define, for example, all MERs start with 0, 0, 0, 0, 7 that become from the vessel.
Yes.
Okay, if that starts from 800 something, that's the one that has been created from the office. So
Yes.
you can define that from the in the configuration.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. So I know that's something that not to the vessel but to the department. So I suggest them to create from the FSM. Okay.
All right. Yeah. Yeah. It has more Windows friendly GUI.
Yeah. The user interface here is much better if you can
Yes.
talk like this because
But
that's .NET.
it will be the same data, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh, Same data for the purchase
Yes. Yes.
model only because you cannot see the maintenance and
Curious. Yeah. 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 The maintenance. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, but you can have some common information. For example, I can see the list of spare parts that you have in IPS. I can see here as well. So just to check, see.
Yeah.
So I can have something. I cannot change and change anything here. But if I need, for example, check what's the drawing number for a specific item, or if I would like to check something, I can just go here and I can see the same information that you have in IPS.
Right.
Of course, filtering by plant. What you call plant here? Where's the plant? Plant. What the hell? Where's the plant here? Well, ah, they changed the name. So I can see per vessel,
Okay.
semi kind of a spare part. But that's I'm gonna show you afterwards.
Yes. 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 I don't want to get ahead of myself.
Uh, and from that point, we've finalized the purchasing. There is just to guys understand how FSM and Star IPS they communicate between each other, and also how the vessel communicate between each other with the hub database. So as I explained you in IPS, can I start that or have
Yes,
to
yes, yes.
record some?
Go ahead, go ahead.
Okay. As I explained before, the people on board they can only create a material requisition or direct purchase order. Okay, in that case, when they create a material requisition, what? Okay, that's how we call MER. Let's
Yes.
go to satellite and arrives in the Star IPS RUB, where in that point we're gonna create this or not create this a second approval step. That's depending how you guys would like to see that. And so once that's approved, the MER is transferred to FSM Office database. That's a completely different database, completely different software. Okay, and FSM convert the MER or replicate a copy of the MER to another document called the PR. Okay, purchase request. First of all, FSM doesn't handle the purchase workflow based on status. Not only based on status, we are based on documents as well. So we have what you call the PR, we have what we call the RFQ, we have what you can call quote, PO, and PF. That's a PO follow-up. And each document type has a specific status. Okay. So first of all, when that arrives in FSM, you create some called the PR draft. That's the status draft. And as soon the purchases department start to quote or create requests for quotes, the PR document change to PR in progress or PR sent. And behind that, the Star FSM create more two documents: the RFQ, okay, with status sent, and a document called quote with status draft. Okay, so that's more or less. I can show you easily in the software. You probably gonna understand better, but just to understand how the process works. So FSM create a PR and send RFQ to the vendors. Okay, that give you back a code, a document called code. This RFQ can be sent directly to the vendor, so that means I can export the RFQ and send as a PDF by my email, Outlook or Gmail or whatever. Okay, or you guys can use what we call SysCommerce. Okay, Transguys has 3 months, I guess, free of this portal SysCommerce. That's another service that you have. That's that's a e-commerce portal. So that means once I send the RFQ to the SysCommerce, your vendor gonna receive an email notification that you receive some inquiries from Transguys. Please take attention. So he gonna receive a login and password if that's the first access to our system. If not, he only gonna receive a notification. So he's gonna open a portal where he can find all your requests for quotes. So they can start to put the price, the delivery dates, and the discounts if that have. And so when they save that here, you guys receive. You guys receive a quote back in FSM with all price, all information you need to know from the vendor. So that means using the SysCommerce, your purchaser will save time because he don't need to enter with all price and delivery dates and discounts manually in FSM. Okay, and you let this job to your vendor that has an interest in to sell the items to you. Okay?
This service is similar to the one that's called CPROC, I believe. Or
That's similar to one that called ship server, maybe.
yeah, yeah, yes,
But and but in the different way, the ship server they charge the vendors to be part of a list of vendors.
correct.
Then you as a company don't need to pay anything to get these vendors.
Yes,
But in our case, that's opposite. The cost is from the customer side. So that means you can send a new request for quote. Doesn't matter if the vendor is a client for Syscommerce or not. You
okay,
see? So if there is a small store beside your office in Miami and you like to buy there, you can just create that address in FSM, send a request for quotes, and you're gonna contact this guy and saying, "Oh, hi, we are the Syscommerce, and you're gonna explain the service, and so you're gonna provide the credentials to this guy, and he will be able to open the portal and put the price there."
yes,
Okay. So once we receive the quote back, okay, the PR get the status as quoted. Okay, so after that you can decide what's the best vendor, and you can issue a PO to that guy. So the PO can be sent manually as well by email, or you can send again through the Syscommerce. Okay. Once the vendor receives that, we can split this PO and send a copy to your freight forwarder. So that's some kind of integration. Okay, that's customization. So that means when I create a PO, I ask to not deliver in my office, but in my freight forwarder or in my warehouse. And I sent a copy to this warehouse as well. So he's aware that sometime or anytime he's gonna receive this good on behalf of you. Okay. So if the vendor approve the PO, because you can have a gap between the code sent to you and the time you're gonna send the order back to them. So that can be 1 week, 2 days, or 3 days. So once he confirmed that all items are still available for the same price, he sent to you something called the POC. That's a document called the PO confirmation, okay, called POC. From Syscommerce that automatically, so that you're gonna receive, okay, the vendor confirm that PO, okay. If not, if you send a PO manually to him by email, probably he's gonna send okay. You're gonna proceed with this order. So you're gonna receive this PO confirmation by email. Okay.
right,
Once a PO is created and approved, we create a new document called the PF. That's a PO follow-up. So that means the PO will remain as the same, and you're gonna have a new copy of the PO in the office where I can save and update the dates of delivery. If for any reason the vendor called me and say, Flavio, sorry, I cannot deliver this item anymore because we have a problem here. So I can update my PO follow-up with the new dates, and automatically people in the vessel gonna receive this PO and the update of the probable delivery date, estimate delivery date. Okay. So as soon on board they receive the items as you made before in IPS, just create a receipt and put as a fully received. So the IPS send back to FSM that all items are received, and so you can close the process in FSM.
correct.
Okay.
Okay,
So you see, we have a many type of documents. So that MEI is the material acquisition that came from the office.
yes,
Okay. In the in FSM, that's become a purchase request. Okay. After that, we create a PO and some other documents as RFQ and codes, and a PF. That's a PO follow up. Okay. Easy to understand.
yes,
in the future, if you guys decide to implement integration, we are able to do that. Okay. We have some companies that have integration directly with FSM, where as soon we place an order in FSM, we send all these commitments to the financial system. So you create some database views, so probably your ERP can just read and create the commitments in the financial system. Once you receive the invoice, we can save back the invoice inside the PO in FSM. Okay.
Yes.
And if in the opposite situation, you can, as soon the IPS receive the items on board, it's automatically update the FSM as well, and so you can send the PO receipt details to invoice as well.
Okay.
So that means we receive an invoice is here. As soon people receive the items on board, you can just tell to your ERP by integration, okay, you can pay that. Or you can, first of all, send the receipt to you guys, and so you probably say, okay, if they receive the items on board, so probably you're gonna receive an invoice soon. Okay, so as soon as you receive this invoice, you can just import that back to FSM. Okay.
Okay. For example, if we start using not this service, not this third-party service, but
Mm-hmm.
for example, the ship server, I think is the other one. It will still work with that platform.
So what you said? Can you repeat, please?
If we don't use the service the one that you explained just a minute ago, and we go for ship serve.
So ship server.
Yeah.
Okay. We for ship server we have an agreement, but I don't know if there is a cost for that for you guys.
Okay.
But we have an integration from Syscommerce to ship server.
Alrighty.
Okay, so
So
for all your
okay. Yeah, got it.
for all your vendors in FSM, you have to check that's not a Syscommerce, but that's a ship server.
Yeah.
And so probably you have a specific number that identify the vendor in the ship server, and of course you can make a bridge between you and the ship server.
Okay.
But I'll be very honest with you, I don't remember if that's agreement between us and the ship server and that's for free, or if there is a small fee to use us as a bridge to ship server
Yeah.
instead of a full fee as you're gonna handle the whole process. So I'm not sure how we have to ask people in Singapore.
Okay.
I have, but yes, that's possible to use a ship server with Syscommerce.
Alrighty.
Okay.
Okay.
And of course, you can grab some master data from financial systems like address book, that's the vendor's address, project currency and financial accounts, and you can import that to FSM. That can export that to IPS as well. Perfect.
Perfect.
So in FSM, you have two models, the FSM admin and the FSM client. Okay.
What's the difference between those two?
I'm
Oh,
gonna one for administration, the other one is the client itself. Let's just okay, back to here. Okay. The administration tool, I'm gonna just make a small briefing because I don't wanna go in details about that. You can create some users. Okay, you can manage users, so you can oh no, sorry, here you can create users. Okay, new user, or create a new FSM user. So define what kind of a groups these guys will gonna participate. Okay. So here in the user group access groups, I can have all groups that you have in FSM and who is assigned to. So you can see that Christine, Anton, Knut, Jan, all these guys are part of a contract handling. Okay. So you can define by group here what is the permission. He can create POs. He can just go until the PR. He can place PO to the vendor, not place PO to the vendor. Okay, so to have all configuration, who can create PR, who can create RFQ, and so on. You can create what you call the purchase teams. That means I can create a team called South America, and I can create another team called North American. Okay.
Yeah.
And I can set to the system, for example, if someone doesn't matter the vessel, create a PO to a region, South America, automatically assigned to the people who is part of group South America. So that's the reason that the region in IPS is important. So because I can check the vessel I'm talking about and see, okay, for this region, I have this purchase team. And so I'm going to automatically assign these guys for the vessel. Doesn't matter if that's only operating in South America, only operating in North America, if he's in transit. So I can have same vessel with POs for different kind of groups or purchase teams. Okay.
Okay.
And of course, we have the setup as well. So here you can define some setup. Normally you make that during the implementation. Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't want to go in details, but back to FSM. This is what we have. That's our system called FSM. So that's the user interface is a little bit more modern than the Star APS. Okay, in terms of technology, because that's is a .NET system, and the IPS is still a VB system, so a Visual Basic system. Okay. In the left side, you have all models as IPS. Okay, so this one I'm in the purchasing model, but I can go to the supporting function. So I have all set up from the client perspective. So this view works more or less as the common codes in IPS.
Yeah.
Okay. I have the contract administration. That's the contract model, and I have my shipment process model as well. Okay. Let's start from the purchasing model. The purchasing model is split in two small groups. First of all, first one is active documents. So that means all documents that are still active and in process, in purchasing process. And another one called all documents that contain all documents that has been finalized in FSM. That means the purchase process has been finalized. Okay.
Okay.
In the active documents, I still have somewhat other filters. That's not status, but a process. Okay, so that means I have in the purchase request, I have two kind of process when the PR came incompleted. That's can happen when one field is mandatory in FSM, but not mandatory in IPS. That means that was a bad implemented. Okay, so that remains here until someone fix and save the mandatory fields. And you have what you call draft PRs. That is all material requisition that came from IPS and become purchase request in FSM. Okay. In the inquiry process, I can see the whole PRs that are still in process, or I can check for example, that the ones that I do not create any RFQ, or the ones I sent a request of queues, but no one has replied yet. Okay, all the PRs that I sent and I receive a quote, and even the ones I sent, I create a PO, but not for all items. So it still remains some items to be ordered. Okay. So as you can see, that's not state but process. So during the coaching approval, I can set in FSM that before I start create a PO, someone must sorry. Before I no, that's it. Before I create a PO, I can force that someone in the office approves this code before I proceed to a PO, or I can, what is more common, I can let purchase create POs, but stop them when they have to place a PO to the vendor. That means when I change from the PR to the PO receives the status draft. Okay, and I just can change the status to order when someone from the office approves that. So the superintendent, so the manager, the director, depend on how the position and amounts he can approve. Okay.
Okay.
This process follow until the end. That is the items delivered. Okay, and once that's delivered, that means I don't have nothing to do anymore, and so this process can be finalized and removed from the active documents to the history. Perfect.
Perfect. How do you move to history?
Uh,
Or are we gonna do an example later on?
yeah, but I can
Okay.
just quickly show you. Okay, once that's has the status delivered, I can just came and finalize the order. Okay. Okay. So now that's finalized. So I cannot make any other change here. So that's closed forever.
Okay.
Because when that's as a delivery status, I can still include some invoices here with amounts and so on. Okay.
Yeah.
But when I finalize that, that's not active anymore, and so you can only find this documentation, this document here in the history. Okay.
Yeah.
This is the main windows. So this is a grid where people gonna work it daily. Okay. So we have here all draft PRs. Okay. For all vessels. Okay. You can, for example, filter. Click in the field. I can, for example, I would like just to see for this MS super speed. Okay, so I can filter my grid. I can see both. I can clean up my filters. Okay, I can group by plant. Okay, so I can see by plant what kind of PRs I have to proceed with the purchasing. Okay. I can do what we fully recommend. I can group by plant and also group by priority. So for example, I can see by priority, for example, I can have here the urgent priority. So I can, in my workflow, I can start from these ones. And after that, the normal storing. And after that, the next convenient report. So I can split my workload according the priority and plant if I want. Okay. To reset that, I can just unselect that. So I back to the first position. Okay. If I use this searching here, I'm gonna just look into this information that you have in the grid. Okay, that means I'm gonna search in these 30 rows that I have here. Okay, so if I put here 18, 4277, okay, I'm gonna search for this APR that's is in place here. But if I use this one, I can search in all purchase documents, not only the PRs. So
Right.
if I do that, I can see that there is a MER with status is PR draft and a PR that the status is draft. Okay. Or I can look for all. When I look all, I say I'm saying to the system that look, doesn't matter if that's a PO, if that's a company, plant, spare, consumable. They're gonna try to search this information everywhere. Perfect.
Every input is searchable.
Every input is searchable.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Back to the draft. Let me close, remove this filter, remove this group, set filters. In my overview here,
I,
I
I,
have
I have one question. I read that there's only 30 rows. Is it possible to exist more than 30 and not be showing them over there?
no. Yes, if I don't have access to the vessel, because
Okay.
I only can see here in this draft grid if in the planning assignment here in the support function
Yeah.
I have access to the vessel we are talking about. So
Okay.
maybe I can be the manager and I have access to the all vessels, but Flavio has only to the Super Speed 2 and this train magic here. Okay,
Right. So
so I go ahead.
yeah, in this star FSM, I'm seeing all the vessels in the fleet.
Yeah, the all vessels will be here as well.
Okay.
Okay, and so you can say now Flavio can see all only these vessels, and no, Flavio can see all vessels, and or if I'm a purchase coordinator, I can see all vessels, and I can see something here like let me show you. There is a purchase team. Okay, so I can see the purchase team and the purchaser.
Right.
So I can see, for example, here I have 25, but the only atom is check this vessel, and here only cannot. So I can say, oh my God, Anton is a little bit overloaded. So I can start to go here, open a PR, and I change the responsible for that. can say that now. Where's the guy? Ah. So now I have one more for Keynote. See? So I can, as a coordinator, I can try, okay, he's overloaded, so I'm gonna split this some PRs to another guys and make that more comfortable. Okay?
Yeah.
And then me as a, let's suppose I'm the Keynote, I can check all documentations or only assign to my team.
Okay.
So that means if my team is South America, I don't care about the North America, I just gonna check my team. Or if I don't wanna check all my teams, because in my teams I can have a lot of unassigned new PRs. That means I can have with no responsible here. See?
Yeah.
Okay. Or I can just have like this. Speed 2. So that's my team, speed 2. Okay. Or I can, okay, no, I would like only to see what's assigned to me. So that means I don't care about the rest. I only check what, let me back here. Let me take one from me here. And so I can check, for example, all that's unassigned. So that one's not assigned to no one.
Okay.
This one's assigned to me. So I can see, okay, why that's not assigned to no one. Okay, I can check that and assign to me. See, automatically, this is not assigned to any responsible purchaser. Do want to assign yourself? I can put yes, and that will be part of my workload. If not, I can just let this, and I can ignore the unassigned and just use the assigned to me. So that's the only ones, the only one I have access, and I'm gonna work today. Okay.
Right. Okay.
I'm gonna, before that, just to make more understandable, I'm gonna jump to support function, plant, and I'm gonna open a plant. The plant is the vessel, okay?
Okay.
And I can say, for example, that this vessel is part of its worldwide group. So that means he can create MEIs on board, okay, and select worldwide region, okay.
Okay.
And in configuration, let me just back here. Users. No, it's not here. I can't tell, for example, for all MERs that came from that vessel, I can automatically assign to this group, kind of group. Okay, but I don't remember how you can automatically assign to according the regions as well.
Okay.
So I can check afterwards. But anyways, when you have, I'm back to the purchasing, draft PR. We have here the regions as well. See?
Yeah.
So if I put all documents, I can group by regions, plant, and you can have an overview from South America. What vessels are asking to buy stuffs? Same from the office, and same for the North America if you want. So that's a very nice feature, this kind of a grouping on the grid.
Right.
Perfect.
Perfect.
So other kind of interesting stuff here, I can not only filter to my assigned to me, I can also there is a bar here that, for example, I can just bring to here. Oh. Okay, that was more or less like the Microsoft Excel, where you can freeze some columns and you can go to the right side. So you see that you can move here, but these columns are freeze.
Oh, okay.
Perfect.
Flavio, one question. All these PRs, and I think that that's the lowest of the scale of the completion.
Mm-hmm.
They're coming from the vessel through star IPS, correct?
Yep.
And while people are working on these PRs and quotes and their own purchase orders, the vessel received any kind of update on the document that they were working or creating, they were created.
Yes. As soon as this is still, for example, if that's still a PR in FSM,
Yeah,
if I open, for example, this, you see that we have state requisition
yeah,
by item.
yeah.
So that's gonna change to quoting. This one can be ordered. This one probably is still remain as a requisition. You see? So every time people just come here and see that that the status per item, and also
Just,
the header will be changed as well. Because,
oh,
for
okay.
example,
That was my
if,
question because you told us that those were two different databases, but somehow they are interconnected, correct?
yeah, we have an integration between. That's a native integration between both databases.
Okay,
Even that's a separate database. So if, for example, the item one has status ordered, and this one is acquisition, this one is quoting, automatically the header gonna take the partly ordered
all right,
status.
all right,
So they have a full visibility on board about the status.
okay,
And here, of course, how many was ordered, if they cancel an item,
yeah, yeah,
if that's how many is on PO. Okay, if this item has been received in a forwarder, okay, or maybe that's received in a warehouse.
yeah.
So that's probably that you'll be here as received or delivered. Okay, delivered but not received on board. So the state will be delivered, but when they receive that in the vessel, the state will change from delivered to fully received. So they have all control of the purchase process.
Okay, cool.
Perfect.
Good enough. Yes.
Okay, so we have also some icons here when the document is locked. That means I can lock this document so people cannot do anything. People, you know that someone is working on. Okay. If someone other item that has that flag I was missing in IPS that called DG, that a dangerous good. Okay, I'm gonna receive this flag, so that means that's a dangerous good flag.
Yeah.
So that's probably I have to try arrange a special transportation, a special certificate, or and so on.
Yes.
This icon means that we have some comments. This PR. So if I go here, you can see that someone from the item. Let me see. There's a comment here. But the comment is no comment. Good. Very smart. And if that's a deactivate OPO stop, okay? Because sometimes if you have a contract model, okay, the PRs can go directly to the purchase order if that's part of a contract, and the amount is matching with the amount we have in the contract. But if for any reason we broke the contract and the people try to send that anyway, we can, okay, not possible to proceed with the automatic PO creation because this vendor probably is deactivated or the PO has stopped because there's a flag. Don't buy to this vendor anymore for any reason. Okay, maybe a deviation or maybe a problem or a dispute with the vendor. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start to buy something. Okay, if I just something else. I can save my views. Okay, if I would like to work like this forever, I can just click here and save this view. So every time I open this PR model, that's you remains with the same groups and features.
Okay.
Okay. So okay, let's start purchasing process. I open this one. Okay. So you can see here that you have something called a PR head, PR item. Okay. In the head, I have all information: who is the buyer for that plant, who's the invoice company for that plant, delivery address, priority that came on board, delivery date. Okay, what kind of transport people asking me to deliver on board. Okay, and the item itself. Okay, so I have the comments for the MER. Okay, and I have a comments from the item. Okay, so that means in the IPS, I have the comments from the MER, and I have a comments the other lines. Okay,
Okay.
so that information came to FSM. Okay, I have no vendor here. Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I can start the process. I'm gonna add some vendors. So I can say take this one. And a Kongsberg. Okay. I can add more items here if I want. Okay, just clicking add item. That's you searching my spare list from that vessel, or spare or consumable. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Or I can just add manually. See, new item. I can just type what I want. I can choose the unit and I can start to buy that as well. Okay, I'm gonna remove that. Select here, remove the item. If I have, let me click here again. If I have this item here, I can, for example, select him and I click here in split PR. So that means someone from the vessel, they try to purchase medicines and also some maintenance items, some spares. So that's impossible to quote that because there are different type of items. So
Yeah.
I can just select the ones that is related to the medicine and I can split and I create a new PR from the same MER. So that means the same MER on board gonna have two different POs. Okay.
Okay.
Let me remove that again. Back to the header. So I have here all my vendors. Okay, I can define that here. It's
Flavio, just one second. Cuando se le split se genera uno como que correcto, lo divide. Lo divide. With the same number purchase? When we do a split, a new PR is created with another number, correct?
yeah, on the line 1, on the line 2, on the line 3. So that should be 18, 4112 on the line 1 or on the line 2.
Okay.
That's configurable as well. If you go to support function, plant, sorry, not here. Let me remember. No, not here. Sorry, that's this FSM admin. But oh, I don't remember where. Here. You're gonna put underscore and item, or I can just put a dash.
Yeah.
I can put like this, and that's gonna receive 1, 2, 3, depending how many items how many times you split that.
Right.
See? Keep that here. Let me back to the PR. So I have added the 2 vendors here. Okay, if I just hold the mouse over this vendor, I can see more information. If I click here, I can add some information from the vendor. So for example, I can select a contact here, and I can choose between syscommerce and a manual input. As I'm using a training database, I have no connection with syscommerce here, so I'm gonna just use the manual input. So that means I have to print, fax, or email that. Okay, I can remove this vendor from here if I want. I can just click here, and he's gonna be removed. So I have to add a new one. Okay.
Okay.
And I can open the vendor details as well. So I can come here and I can make some changes in the vendor. I'm gonna explain that afterwards. Okay. I can select the order type. Can be a purchase order, can be a service order, can be a repair order. Okay. So to us, doesn't matter. That's only internal information. What kind of a type of order is that? Because to the vendor is always a order. But the type, you can define that yourself. You can define some next to. So that means I'm gonna send that today to the vendor, a request for quote, but I'm gonna inform me to check if you receive quotes. Okay. Why I'm doing that? Because I can, for example, next time in this inquiry process here, I can just filter by next due date and see what the action I have to do. So that's only like your calendar in
Yeah.
the Outlook. Just to remember you when you just filter here, you can sort by these dates, or you can just group that.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Once I'm ready, I can just make request for quotes. Okay. Or I can cancel this PR, or I can lock this PR, or I can set out process if I have any contract active. Okay. In that case, I don't have contract, so I'm going to create manually the request for quotes. So when I click create a request for quote, the RFQ document, okay, is created. See, for each vendor, I have one RFQ, okay, where I can set, I need the answer until Friday, okay, save and send. When I click in send request for quote, I have to print out. It's automatically gonna show me that with all information from the vessel, the equipment that the items is connected to. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
So more information about the item itself. Okay, once I click in OK, a new document behind the RFQ will be created. That's called quote. I'm gonna show you. Okay, that's closed. Let me send that as well until Friday. Save. Send that. I can export that. Here, export report. I can save that in PDF to send to my vendor. Okay. So I'm done. Okay. Click OK. So as you can see, now my PR draft has changed to RFQ sent. So then my purchase request process changed to RFQ sent status. Okay.
Okay.
If you go to document trail, you can see that you have the MER that came from vessel, the PR that now has the RFQ sent status, 2 documents for each vendor with status sent, and 1 document for each vendor with status draft. Perfect.
Perfect.
So if I close that by mistake, for example, and I click in pure draft, I cannot see this anymore here because that's not draft anymore. So, but I know that's in inquiry process. So
Yeah.
I can go to here, or I can, for example, go to my recent documents,
Oh, nice.
and I can see all documents I were working last 2 days. So I know that I was working this documentation here. Okay.
Okay.
Or if I go to the purchase model, as I sent that request for quote, I'm just paying for a quote. So if I click here in this part of the process, probably I will be able to see that, see
Yeah.
that PR were talking about. Okay, so I open, okay, select this one, but now I have this new button here that's called compare, okay, where I can, if I click that, I have the compare view of vendors. So I have both documents here, the RFQ. If I'd like to open that, I can open from here, okay, or I can open from here as well. Document trail, doesn't matter, I can just click here and open. That will open the document as well, okay. So if, for example, I can reset this request for quote to draft, for example, and change the quantity here and send the request for quote again to the same vendor, okay. But in this case, I have this status sent, okay. I have the quote as a draft, and this is my comparison tool, okay. So here I have, let me just push that, I cannot change that here, it's too small. Well, so I received the quotes by email, okay. So I'm gonna open the quote document, okay. That's the quote header. I can go to delivery days and say this guy gonna give me that in 3 days, and this item will cost 150. I'm not sure if that's dollars or euros.
I think it's Norwegian.
It's Norwegian crown. Yeah. Okay. If I save that here, my document code.
Discount it's in a percentage, right?
Price or percentage.
So
I
whichever I
can
put
put
first.
10%.
Okay.
So that's more or less
Alrighty.
6.7.
Yes.
Or I can just type 7%. Okay. So it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Perfect.
Perfect.
As I save that, my quote document got status quoted.
Yes.
Okay. So if I close that here, I see now that this is quoted. Okay. And this is still as draft. Okay. I'm gonna open this one as well. And I'm gonna deliver that in 1 day. That should be 160. If only 5% discount. Okay, save it. And all my documents is all my codes are updated in FSM. If you use the Syscommerce, that's automatically coded here, so you don't need to put any delivery date, any price, and so on. That should be automatically imported from Syscommerce to our system.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So now you can find that in the code to receive it. So if you click here, you can see that now you can see the same document there, not in code paint anymore.
Okay.
Okay. If only one of the vendors have coded that, you can see that's code pending here, but also the code to receive it. So you can see the same document in 2 different processes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So now I can start to compare. They are the same currency, but if not, I can just compare in my own currency. So okay. You can compare the price in US dollars, for example, okay, or just use the code the code quoted currencies because I know that this guy they quote in NOK.
Yeah.
Perfect.
The rate, does it get a rate?
Just me save that here. In support function,
Yeah.
we have something called common codes currency, and
Okay.
here you can put all the date and the rates.
That's
Okay,
just for reference, correct?
that's for reference, but uh, probably your purchaser have to daily update this text.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
What once we receive a quote, we save the daily quote in other tables in the purchase tables.
Yeah.
So doesn't matter if you change that or not. He gonna remains with the quote from the period they receive that quote.
Okay. Okay.
But normally we have an integration with the ERP softwares.
Okay.
But of course, in the transgas, probably people have to do that manually.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. ¿Eso es algún tipo de cambio? Sí, hay una tabla donde se puede cambiar diariamente.
Okay. I forgot something because when I code that, there is a transport, some additional costs as well. I have the transport and freight, so I can reopen this code and I can tell this the price.
Additional cost.
Additional cost. I have this 100. Okay. And for this one, I'm in the quote header, as you can see, quote item, quote header. I have 50. Okay. So when I start to compare, I can include or not include the additional cost to compare the price. So if I try to see what's the best food delivered, okay, I can see what's the best one. This is the best one. Okay, best total price. If I choose the best, the lowest item price, this one as well. I delivered. See, so I can use the filter to try find the best one to buy my items.
Right.
So in total, include if I remove the costs, if I remove the costs, I can see that this one is the best one because that's the less price is best price. Yep,
Yeah.
but included the additional costs. This one become the best one. Okay, so I'm gonna select this one. So that means I'm gonna buy all items with this vendor. Okay, so that means I can select here, make a PO, or I can open the code and accept this code and I make a PO.
Okay.
Gonna do from here. Okay. Now my PR has finalized. Okay. If I go to my document trail, my MER changed from PR draft to PO draft. My PR process, my purchase request process is finalized. This guy has quoted, but this one won with the best price. Okay. Here's the quoted, and here the one that we approve the amounts. Okay. So let's create a new document. Let me close that here. You see, from the PO, I can still see the document trail. So I can back to the PI if I want. Okay. I can go back to the comparison tool.
Yeah.
The PO, I can start to put the terms. So film word, I can just 1 second. I can calculate the delivery date according the dates we quoted. If I don't, if I remember so far that I put one day for this guy. So if I put that here, that's
Yeah.
be delivered tomorrow, or I can just set myself. Okay. Okay. So I'm able to send this PO. Okay. In the PO, have this kind of what you call the PO revision. In done by, I can see who created the MER in the vessel, who started the inquiry process, that was me. If someone else approved that and generated an order, I can see who made that as well. All trace log. So here I can see that someone in February, okay, has created this MER has been ported to FSM. That was in February. So until now, who has changed the status? So that was me. I have sent a request for quote manually. So I have all trace log about this process logged here.
Nice.
Okay. In the PO, I can lock that because I'm gonna work tomorrow. Or someone told me, Flavio, just hold on with this PO because we got a problem and you cannot buy this today or this week. So I can just put on hold here. Okay. Or I can cancel this PO. So this document will be canceled. It remains here in the document trail as a PO canceled. And we're gonna reopen the PR as a PR draft. So you can just back the process and start over again the request for quote documentation.
Okay.
Okay. So if I decide to send that, okay, that's a PO. I can save that as well. And if I click in OK, the status gonna change. I don't know if you have a approval sequence here or if that's gonna stop in the order. Come on.
Is there a filter?
Because that's quite slow. Because there is a big process running in the database server.
Okay.
We are running an importation since yesterday night.
Wow.
So that's still running. Last time that took 21 hours.
Wow.
We don't know. Yeah, but that's a 200,000 megabytes of importation.
What it's using the you're downloading or it's internal?
No, that's important to the database. So that's
Oh,
reading the file and importing information in the database. So that's a little bit slow.
okay.
But that's the first importation that normally that's bigger. It takes some time. But after that, we have only 2 megabytes, 1 megabyte, or some few kbytes file. So that's very quickly.
Yeah, yeah.
It was this one? No.
Sí. Editing también es, did you find it?
Yeah,
Oh, it's ordered now.
yeah, it's ordered because we don't have in this training database we don't have what you call the approval view approval. Maybe I can open that here. Let's just approval. PO needs approval. Okay, save it. Let me reset that. Back to draft. Let's just close and open that again. Okay. So recently documents. So the PR back to the code finish status.
Yeah,
Okay. If you log to the document trails, have a PO and a PF canceled.
yeah.
Okay. Before I continue with that, just 1 second. Let's just check if this plant that is super speed 2. Because we can define for this plant, for example, my approval sequence. Okay, so let me try create one here. Users, Christine. Edit user, he can approve. Okay, so all purchase must go to her because he has the only one that has approval limits.
Okay.
Perfect. So I'm closing here. So Let me back to here, and I'm gonna select this guy again and make a PO. As I cancel the first one, now this one got underline 1, you see?
Yeah.
So that's free on board. Here's the calculated. I'm gonna save, and I can see here that this is 202 NOx. Okay, I'm gonna send that for approval. So now I have no access to approve that, no approval limits. So I approve my first level, okay, but that's got stuck in Christine because she's the only one that can approve that after 0 limits, okay.
Ready.
So if you look at the PO header, now the PO status has a pending approval and approval status waiting. So I can now I can change that here. Check if Christine is approved. Call her. Okay. So the day after, I log again in FSM. I can go to the purchase process, PO process. Okay, now. Okay, and let's check who is still pending of approval. Okay, so there is a reminder to me here that to check if Christian has approved and call her.
Right.
Perfect.
Perfect.
So she's traveling right now, and she's not able to approve that. So I can bypass her, and so that's where you go to the director that has 1 million of approval, for example.
Yeah.
I didn't set that in the support function, but we could set that.
Yeah.
Okay, or I can reset that if I'd like. No, Christians, there is something to approve, but not approve that yet because I have to make some changes in my PO before you approve. So I can reset that. So that's back to PO draft, and I can send to approve it again. I can make all my changes, approve it again. See?
Yes.
I have all steps here. If she is not able, she can tell Flávio, my substitute is Marco Furton. Please transfer to him, and he can approve on behalf of me. So I can click here, transfer to Marco. Yeah. So I can try find you here in this list. Marco is here. I can just forward that to you. Okay.
Okay.
Or he can tell Flávio, I don't have substitute this month. Please, I'm gonna send you an email approving that. Go ahead and force the approval. So she gonna send me an email about that. I can just come in here and force approval. Approved as requested by Christine. So now I can print out the PO, the final PO. I can export that and save it to PDF.
Okay.
Okay. And send by email to my vendor.
Nice.
Okay. Now the state is gonna change to ordered.
I think you have to save it, correct?
That saves automatically. Now let's close it. So if I go now to the PO follow-ups, no. Let's suppose Christian has approved that by email or sorry, direct to the system. When I check here in the pending approval, I will not see the PO that was related to her,
Right.
but I'm gonna find the PO here.
Yeah.
PO is approved, ready to be sent. Okay. As I forced that, I can find that in all POs to follow up. So that means the PO has been sent to the vendor, and now I can let's just searching from here. Okay. Now I can have a copy of the PO. Okay. What the document you call the PF, that's a PO follow-up. In this document, I can make some new reminders here. I can, for example, register, for example, that vendor response. So, okay, he confirmed to me that he can provide that. So that means, Flavio, your invoice number 1234. So I confirm. He confirmed that today, and he promised to deliver tomorrow. Okay, so I accepted. Okay.
Okay.
So now I got the promise date here. Okay. Automatically, the people on board are gonna receive a PO as a order. So in IPS, you now from that point you can start to see here
Yeah.
the PO after that got ordered,
Yeah.
and you can see when you go to the PO. There is a delivery date. Details. Time of delivery. Where's the delivery date? So as I have explained before you guys go to lunch, I have forced the approval. So
Yes.
now you can see in the approval tab for this PF, okay, that we have force on behalf of Christine, okay. If I go to the document trail, I can see now that I have the PO, so I can still can open the PO here.
Yeah.
Okay. I have the revision. I have no revision for that, so I have more or less the same information. But for the users, they will not be able to change anything in the PO on the PF. Okay. So now this is replicated to IPS, and people now can see that these items, this item has been ordered from your office. Okay.
Yeah.
But let's suppose for any reason or any problem in your vendor, he call you back and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, but we found an issue here, and the item we separate to deliver to you was broken, and have no one to deliver now. Could I deliver that the next week? So if you approve that, you can just come here in the promised delivery date, change that next week, save, okay. But if you look into the PO follow-up, now you have what they call delivery date deviation. So that means this vendor, okay, doesn't matter if that was something unexpected, but he delayed the delivery. So you have now a PO with a deviation that you can just ignore if that's a simple case, but you can also register that as a deviation. So I can go to the deviation tab and open a deviation, okay, where I can delay it, okay. I can select a type as well, and as someone, what the who is responsible for this deviation? If it's the transportation company, that's your company itself, or that's the vendor. So in that case, is the vendor. Okay. So I'm gonna save that. So that means in the future, if I open this vendor, okay, if I open here where we have the all information about this vendor, I can see all deviations this vendor receive and what PO this deviation was talking about, or was referring to. So here I have a deviation, that's the number of deviations. So you can treat that, so you can create some internal quality, not quality assurance, but you can create some kind of a quality and give a score to a vendor. So more than one deviations or more than 3 deviations, you have to invite the vendor to talk, to have a meeting. Or more than 5 deviations, you can just stop to create POs to this vendor.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is the reason you can use this deviation to register things. Okay, so okay, now we have a deviation, but he said, oh, and we have one more problem. The item have to send is not available anymore, so I have to change to a similar one that's a little bit more expensive. So that's around $180 NOK in this case. So that's okay for you. So if okay, yeah, that's okay. So in that case, as you have a price change, or maybe that could be as well a quantity change as well. Okay, I have to create a change order. Okay, so that means I have to start a change order because I'm gonna change a price that has been approved before. Okay, so now you can see that the PO is a change mode on. Okay, so I can find that here as well in this process, change mode. Okay, so I can change the price 18 okay, 180. Okay, I can end, and I have to make a revision and send that to new approval. Okay, so I'm gonna clicking OK, and now it's ordered, but you still have approval states waiting. Okay, because we have a price amount change. Okay, so
Okay.
I'm gonna force the approval again. Okay, so the change order was made. Now I have a revision one. Okay, I'm gonna resend this PO to the vendor because now that's approved. Okay, so that's order revision one, and now I can receive the goods on board. Okay, so if I go to the PO here, document trail, if I go to the PO, okay, PO is exactly the same copy, revision one, and the PO has the revision one as well. But if I'd like to see what we had as a revision 0, for example, I can go to the PO revisions in the PO here, and I can open that, and now I can compare. So revision 1 have this amount. In the revision, the first revision, that's revision 0, okay, I have this amount. So doesn't matter how many change orders you create here, that you always create a new revision. Okay?
Okay.
So from that part, from that moment, the interaction back to the IPS. So here people gonna select this PO, clicking receipt, and I'm gonna proceed with the receipt. In this case, they're gonna put receiver and save that. So once they do that in the IPS, the status on board changed to fully received. Okay, the PO got the fully received status, and FSM gets back the status delivered.
All right.
Okay, let's suppose for this vendor specifically, they didn't deliver that in the vessel, but they send that to for freight forward, or they send that to a warehouse, or maybe they deliver that in your office site. Okay.
Okay.
So me as a purchaser, I can just open the PF and just go here. And okay, let me see, warehouse. So today I receive this guy in my warehouse. Okay, or I can just receive that in my forwarder. Okay, with date and quantity. Okay, that's the quantity I have ordered. So I can receive that in both places. Okay, please note that I cannot do that in this receive on board, because that's the only date that is updated from IPS, not FSM.
All right.
Okay, but here to simulate the other part that you wanna receive that in the warehouse. Okay, I just put the one quantity here. That's the date. So if I save that, now I got the status delivered, approved, and I have a new status called logistic status that is warehouse. Okay.
Okay.
When you have this process in IPS, that should be as ordered. Sorry, that should be as delivered here status. Here, deliver in a warehouse, and here you can see that you have no, sorry. That's remote stock, I guess. Have a remote stock to have the quantity 1 or 2. That's how many you have ordered before. Or if you deliver that to your forwarder, so you're gonna see this information here. So people from the vessel knows, okay, that has been delivered, and that quantity is under my forwarder, and probably that will be delivered soon.
All right.
Perfect.
Perfect.
But for that point, I have two options: or finalize that and move that to the history, or I can still make some. I know that's the total of my PO here, so I can add. That's the invoice 1234. Status paid. Okay. What? Okay. So I paid today. That was a invoice. Okay. So we can also have some procedures, the database that can check if the total invoice amount is the same or higher than the PO total amount. So automatic finalize that.
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
Once I do that, Just copy here. So as you not be able to find that here anymore. But if I go to my history, I don't have filter here, but I can just find this PO, and that's finalize it. Okay.
Okay.
And while tracking in the document trail. Okay.
Okay.
I have more 10 minutes. Okay. If I decide, for example, now I would like to buy the same stuff, but from the offside. So I can, like we did in the IPS, I can just copy as a PR draft, and I can select the vessel. I would like to create that for that vessel. And when I click in OK here, that's you copy the entire PO as a PR, and that's you can start from that point again.
Nice.
Okay. If I would like to buy something to the office, so for my department, for my IT department in office, I don't want to create nothing to the office, so I can just click here new PR. So let's see, that's my main office, Terminal Oslo. Okay, that's a new PR document. Okay, once I save that, that's we receive a number. That's we preset all PRs starting from 3000 means that this has been created from the Office database from FSM.
Right. The
Now
vessel will not see that until it's a status PO, right?
sorry, say again, please.
The vessel will not be able to see that until some point.
No, in that case, the vessel will not be able to see anyway because I create that under Terminal Oslo. That's not a vessel.
Ah, okay.
That's like the Office instance. But of course, I can create something here on behalf vessel.
Yeah.
So mobilization to new building. Okay, so they're gonna receive that over there in both as a MER and a PO when I create a PO.
Okay.
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 But you see it, they follow different sequence because this the latest sequence for this vessel.
Yeah.
As this one I create in Terminal Oslo, that's the first one that this got the 3000 as a sequence. And so I can start the process. I can create Dell, i7 server, and so on. So start to define the unit. You need to have it to the unit here. Here. So all mandatory fields they gonna pop up like this.
Yeah.
See this square.
Yes.
Okay, so you can start to make your PR.
Okay.
Okay. Tomorrow we can make a small review about that again.
Yeah.
And you can go into the support functions. That's quite fast. We can try talk later on if you want as well, because that's just an overview.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna talk about the shipment process and contract module. That's very quick as well, because this is an extra
Yeah.
administration model. This extra model. I don't know if you have included that in your FSM, but I can explain anyway. Okay, I think so. Can expand 40 minutes or maybe less than 1 hour.
Yeah, if you talk about some administration processes that you were gonna explain to us.
Yep.
For example, setting up or installing or any troubleshooting problems that should appear.
Okay, good. Yep, good.
Yeah.
And but about this purchasing process is simple. You have any questions about? Of course, you have many informations here that I can also use. For example, when I send a request for quote to the to a vendor, I am gonna show you that tomorrow for you.
Yeah.
But I can add instructions. So that means I can create my own terms and conditions. So it's some kind of a preset text. So that will be print out when we print that.
Okay.
So just hold on. See?
Yeah.
So you can create your own instruction, terms and conditions, and so you can add here like, okay, we only receive invoice until the 20th of each month. Please send an invoice to email, blah blah blah, and so on.
Right.
So I have some more small details that I can explain tomorrow, but that's important to know. This is one of the interesting things.
Yeah.
Okay. And of course, you can add more information, but I have that's customized. So for this PR, I can, okay, that's a financial account. I can define cost centers. That's something that you don't have in the IPS. So I can save that in any kind of project, some project activity. Okay, I can have some kind of this case is an investment code, but this is a customized name because this is WBS code,
Right.
and of course the department. That can be some kind of internal department as well, not only the ones that you can see on board. See, that's the purchase department,
Yeah.
for example. Okay, for the item I put here, I can say now this item is part of this technical account 601. If I buy something from so if I buy something on behalf of vessel, there's no equipment here. Oh, okay, yeah, because that's a terminal. That's not a vessel. That's
Oh.
yeah, but take this one. An item there.
There you are.
See, so that's you get all information from that equipment. So if when I print out that as well, the item you receive all the information from the equipment he's connected to. So the vendor know, oh, okay, I know that's bearing is for the main engine. Okay, that serial number and more information I would like to add. Okay.
Okay.
So far so good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now let's jump to the support functions. That's where we configure some vessels in FSM. Okay, because once we create the user in the FSM admin, you have to go to the FSM and assign to the correct plants. So that means, let me just open here as well. So once you create a new user here, yeah, create FSM user, we can assign him to what kind of approval level, email, and you're gonna create the password and so on.
Well, when you say approval level, it's an amount, right?
Yeah, there's the amount that he can approve,
Okay.
because FSM has what you call the PDF approval.
Yes.
So when, for example, as we saw yesterday, when I send that PO to approval of Christine,
Christine, yeah.
probably she gonna receive an email with a PDF, okay, with
Yeah.
all POs that she needs approve, and but no, only her can open this PDF because you need a password that is defined when you create a user. Have a PO approval password, so it can be 5123. So when I receive the PDF with my approvals, I can use that to open. And from the PDF, I can approve and send that to FSM. I don't have an example here to show you guys, but I can try find something afterwards. A small example where you can just open and see, because when you open the PDF, you can see the details of the PO, and you can check if you can approve or not approve, and your comments about this approval. Okay, and when I click in save and send, the PDF will generate a XML file attached to your email and send to us. Probably, for example, for that company, for example, they're gonna receive uh, uh, in that email.
Okay.
So every time they're gonna check this email, if there is any kind of approval that must be processed, and so they're gonna process that and import to FSM. So people don't need, for example, the Boca Negra don't need go to the system and approve the POs assigned to him. He
Okay.
can just open the PDF and approve that.
What happens when you don't have a password for approval and you don't put it, you leave it blank?
Yeah, in this example here, I just leave that blank because that's a test environment. But if I define, for example, for Christine, uh, not this screen. For example, when I create a new user, you can say, okay, that's my ID, Flavio Training. Can set my email, smartin.com. Okay, I can put more information if I want. So I have only $5,000 as approval limit.
Un montón de dólares. Oh, bueno.
And my password to approval that. Okay.
Okay. What happens if you leave that blank?
You probably will not you do not need to put the password in the spreadsheet, but you can just come here
Yeah.
in the users tab, edit user, so I can set password here, or just in that case, US. You can set a password following your policy of security. So okay, save it. And after that, I can, for example, assign user to a group. So I create my user. That's
Mr. Flavio,
okay. Me?
when the limit is zero, the like I see there, it's unlimited or what happened there?
No. There is no limit. No, sorry. That's limit to zero, so you cannot
Okay,
approve anything.
alrighty, okay, got it.
Okay. If you do like some kind of a limit approval level, you can just
So
put
that's because that's for somebody that has there's a new employee and he doesn't know anything and
yeah.
okay,
Yeah, normally for purchasers and we just set to zero or only, for example, one.
right,
That's a $1, so that's doesn't matter.
yeah,
Okay, so I'm gonna select my new user here, and I'm gonna assign to a group. So I'm gonna say I'm a purchaser, and I can approve as well. Okay. So after that, I have a user to open FSM. I have uh, sorry. I have a user in FSM. I'm assigned to a specific group, so I can from this group, for example, we set and you enable me to approve some POs if that's reach my approval amount. Okay, but I don't have access to the plants yet. So after that, someone responsible should come to the support function where I'm gonna see all plants and see and say Flavio gonna okay have access to this speed too. Add user and to Terminal Oslo. Okay.
okay,
Once it's done, I will be able to see the the PRs and the POs and so on here in my grid. If I not do that, I probably are gonna open that and I'm not able to see anything here. So that's the first step when I create a user. Go to the plants he can't have access to and assign these guys to the plant.
okay,
Okay. To talk about the plants. Okay. Here is the plant configuration. So I can open the speed tool. Just double click. And I have the information as the full buyer, the full invoice address, the full delivery address, some information about the vessel. This is the same uh, plant name or vessel ID that we have in IPS.
yeah,
So I can, for example, set that people can split the PR if you want. They can create a PO frame directly without create requests for quotes and quotes. Okay, I can tell you that that will be automatically assigned to this purchase team when I create a new PR. Okay, I can tell what kind of regions this plant can work on.
yeah,
I can define per vessel what kind of numbering this can use or not. In that case, FSM is using this one to the PRs created in the office. So that's starting for 3,000. Okay. Same for POs. When I create a new.
Hay que modificar esto. Activity year. Change it every year.
can we need to change this every year? No.
No, you can put that auto renew
Oh yeah.
Okay.
each year, so automatically lets you jump to
Yeah.
2019
Yeah.
and back to 3,000. Okay. What kind of a default additional costs we can have in this plan? Okay. Now I have only 2 additional cost registers in the system, but I can put more here, like a small order fee. Okay. So that should be enabled to you guys fill with information when you receive a code. And
Yes, go ahead.
what we call the approval list. So that means Anton is the purchaser. He has 0 as approval limit. Okay. Christian is the next one. So when Anton places a PO, that should be automatically sent to Christian. And if the PO is more than $200,000 or whatever, because I think so. This one is the Norwegian krone, this database. Okay, this will be forwarded to me. Okay, so I can put several approval limits here. Okay, and this will follow all these steps until you get the PO approval. Okay.
Yeah.
I can say I can have many projects. So in common codes here, I can create new projects and say this plant can only see this today, this doc project, for example.
Okay.
So when people create a PO, this will be the only project that they can select in the process. Okay. Or I can put more if I want. So once this dry docking project or any other project that finalizes, you can just go here and remove. So people will not be able to select that anymore. Okay. But that's good to know, because if you say, Flavio, I would like to use some projects in my plant, but that's not visible. What's wrong? I did. So no, you didn't do anything wrong. Just have to go to the plant and set up that. Okay.
Okay.
It's the best. For the plant, I can also define what kind of instructions I would like to have as default. So you can create your terms and conditions. I'm going to show you how to create that. And that should be always saved as default when I create a new request for code to a new PO. Okay. And of course, the purchaser can just go there and remove if they don't want to use that anymore during the purchasing process. Okay. And you can also customize some fields. So you can add fields here to the plant. You can add some customized fields in the PO as well, in the PR as well. So if you guys feel, okay, Fabio, we must have an internal control number that the purchaser have to put this information just to you save somewhere, and afterwards use that in a report or so on. We can create what you call the use-defined fields. In that case, these customers create one called the ERP company ID because they have an integration, and in the ERP, this plant has the company number 7.
Okay.
So you can create a checkbox, you can create a list of values, so there is no limitations. You can create all customized fields you want.
Right, and for that value to appear on the PO, on the printed PO, that's something that we need to customize on the formats, right?
Yeah, if you'd like to have that in the report, you can customize that, but that's not default.
All right.
Okay. So the plant is very simple. Once that's set up, okay, that's part of the implementation. You probably gonna go with you guys to define the PR key numbering, if that's follow the same number as IPS, or if you're gonna give a new number for that. We always fully recommend you guys to use the same number as the IPS for the PRs.
Yeah.
But for POs, probably you can create a running number different than IPS, or you can just follow the same number.
Okay.
So we have both scenarios because we have some customers that prefer to keep the same number until the end of the process. But we have some customers that prefer to have a different number of POs because they can keep the control. Because for example, we can have the same PO number but to different vessels. So they would like to avoid that, and for that reason they decide to use a common sequence numbering. Okay, and so they can define that what's the pre-code and so on. But that's something we can talk when Singapore start to set up this FSM to you guys.
Yes.
In the support function, we have also what you call the companies. Okay, you can use the searching codes to find all active companies. But if you'd like to include the deactivate company as well, I can just flag here. And this is gonna show me all deactivate as well. Okay.
Deactivate.
So all these companies are deactivated for I don't know the reason. Maybe they are not they didn't get the correct score as a vendor quality assurance. Okay. So if to
¿Los adres?
Los adres.
O sea, ¿son clientes de los proveedores?
Los proveedores. Sí.
Right.
Yeah, supply. Thank you. Go ahead. Go ahead.
yep, all these address or companies we have in synchronizing in sync with IPS. So if we create a new one here, okay, we can define what field you want as a mandatory field or not mandatory. Okay, so in that case, the company is mandatory. So Flavio company. This is marine. Put like this. Okay, you can fill with all information, city, country, codes, and so on. I can define what type of address is that. If I say, for example, that's a buyer. Okay, let me just ping that here. If I say that's a buyer, are you be able, for example, I will be able to select this as a buyer company. See, this marine is here, so you don't have all those 7,000 companies. Okay, but if I look for the same company here, that's not able, so I have to change the type to invoice to. Now I can see that here. So you see, different type of companies can be used in different type of place. So same for delivery address. To deliver address, the company must be at least a warehouse or something like this. Okay, you can, for example, on board when people create a new spare or people create a new technical account or equipment, I can create some address here and say that's a maker. So people will be able to select an IPS this company as a maker. Okay. So you have many of all kind of types you can just select here. Okay. And of course, select the regions he can be part of. So if I put that here, that's a worldwide company. Or I can define now that's a that's America company or that's a South America company and so on. In the commercial window, I can deactivate it. So for any reason, this is not a good provider, a good vendor, I can just deactivate that. And so no one can see this company anymore in the vendor list. Okay. If that's not the case, I can have a dispute with this vendor. They didn't deliver the correct items, and they still forcing me to pay the invoice. So to avoid any problems in the future, I can just create a PO stop. That means people will still see the vendor in the vendor list, but they cannot place any PO to this guy. So from today or from yesterday, so that's I can define that. Okay, until I solve my problem with this guy. So I can also define, for example, the default currency for this guy. Okay, per terms, pay terms. So that's normally this guy have to pay in 50 days. Trade method. So as you can see, I have the ship server, syscommerce or manual. If I put syscommerce, if I put a ship server, I have to check here what's the ship server ID. Probably you guys will know that, or I don't know if you have a portal for ship server. I never worked with ship server before.
Yeah.
But I believe you guys have a list of vendors and their tags in the ship server. So if you use that here, once you send that to ship server, that will be automatically you automatically sent to them by syscommerce, because probably you guys are gonna use us as a bridge.
Yeah.
This is something I forgot to ask people in Singapore as well. Let's just create a new reminder here. Okay. You can define the delivery address. You can define some fixed delivery dates. So this guy only delivers Saturday and Tuesdays, for example.
Okay.
And the full delivery terms as well. So this will be always free on board delivery terms. Okay. I can, for example, if I have a list of items this company can provide, okay, I can create a catalog here. Okay, so I can add some items. Okay, so I know that this guy can provide this product to me. Okay, so I can, for example, check the purchase history for this guy, but there is no history yet. When I select the Sysmarine here, oh no, I didn't save that as a vendor. Okay. When I create a PR and I select this guy, and if I add this item to this PR, so here I can set up that for this catalog for this vendor, that's is the price, for example. So when I add this item in this PR, I can just select this and update price from the catalog. So they're gonna check this vendor, okay, and update the item here.
Okay.
Perfect.
Pero ¿eso se puede alimentar conforme las compras? O sea, ahí estoy viendo los ítems que vende ese proveedor.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Can this be fed by the purchases in over time?
Sorry, I didn't get your question.
Can this list of the cattle items that you are listing here for each vendor, can we feed it by the POs over time, like automatically?
No, but we have. But that's a little bit a little bit linked with the contract administration model. You can have a spreadsheet. Actually, you can have another small software that export this list of items or the catalog items to a spreadsheet. So you can send the spreadsheet to a vendor. They're gonna fulfill with all items they have, and so put the price. So actually, you have to go one by one here, put all items this vendor can provide. So
Yeah.
afterwards, we can export that to Excel, and from the Excel, you can send that to the vendor. Vendor, you put all prices and delivery terms. Send you back. You can import back the price to FSM.
But
But
it's
that's a little bit linked with the contract model. So
right. But putting all the catalogs for each vendor is not mandatory, correct?
no, not mandatory.
This is just if we have time to put all the items of all vendors that we have, right?
Yep.
Okay, okay. Because I know it will be very hard since we have a little, just a little tiny team of purchasing, and they're all spread out
Uh,
through all the processes.
And normally you do that when, for example, you have a fixed price, so you don't want to quote with someone else, so
Right.
you
Okay.
can just add the item here, add the company, update the price from catalog, and send a PO directly. So that's normally what to use. Okay.
Okay. Mm.
So you can select, for example, some replace a specific item from an item from the catalog. So that's automatic. I don't know if that's gonna get the price. No, there's no price attached to this guy. But yeah, you have to put the items and the price to get this information automatically here when you click in price updates. As you can see here, I have alert in my vendor. This alert means that the vendor I select is PO stop, as you can see here. So if I unselect that, yeah, I can refresh here. Okay, so this disappear
Yeah.
because now you can place POs for that. Okay,
Okay.
I can create a new contract with this vendor. Okay, that will be automatically open what you call the contract administration model. Okay, that's not a standard model that comes with FSM. That's one you have to get the license afterwards. But you can create a new contract and you can define all start and end date of this contract. You can set a lead time, so that means doesn't matter the item, they're gonna give you this item in maybe 5 days. Okay, the type of contract, next due, and all this information. I'm gonna back to that soon. Okay. Uh, have all trace logs to this vendor. Oh, no, sorry. Have you all trace logs for this vendor? When you change something here, that's logged here. So that means today I have clear the PO stop flag. Okay. I can add comments to this vendor. See
Yeah.
why I have stopped, why I flag it as a PO stop. Okay, why I back that as a why I clean up this flag so I can put always comments and people can see the all traject this vendor perform during the time. Okay, and of course, see all the deviations as I showed you guys yesterday. So doesn't matter the PR and PO, you can create a deviation for vendor. Okay, can be during the PO process when they delay item or delay missing items. When they don't deliver what you expect, you can create deviations from the PO. Or maybe if this guy never replied the codes, so you can create a deviation. Okay, the vendor never replied the code, so maybe you can just reduce his score or block him or disable him because that's another good vendor because never replies you guys. Okay, and the contacts. So in the contacts you can add, for example, Flávio, Miguel. What's my department? Insist. Okay, my phone, my email. Okay, that contact will be used during the syscommerce integration. So if you guys decide to go for syscommerce, when you place a PO or place a request for code for that vendor, okay, we're gonna try to reach this guy to reply your code, to reply your request for code. Okay.
Okay.
And of course, additional information about that vendor and also what kind of product group this guy can place, but that's only informative things that can be used for filters and so on. Okay, and that's all for vendors. That's a very simple model just to create the vendors and flag what they can do or not can do. Okay,